Hello and welcome to my channel where I talk about audiobooks. Today I will be talking about The Martian by Andy Weir and narrated by R.C. Bray. The Martian is the story of Mark Watney's struggle to survive on Mars after being left behind by his crew. We follow Watney as he works the problem in the hope that he can solve enough problems to get home. My first experience with The Martian was hearing about Matt Damon's Oscar nomination. I remember thinking, how could this movie/book be interesting? I will tell you, my first impression was wrong. Another reason I decided to read The Martian was because I had started getting really into science fiction. I had recently been listening to some Michael Crichton novels like Jurassic Park and Congo. I had also gone down the rabbit hole that is the alien novels. So The Martian seemed to fit into that science fiction genre I was really beginning to love to read. I would also say the cover of the book with Matt Damon in his spacesuit, combined with the great reviews it was getting, really made me want to listen to this novel. Some really interesting information I found out about The Martian while doing a bit of research was that Andy Weir had been self-publishing this book, a chapter at a time, on his webpage. This enabled some of the science to be crowdfunded, as chemists had pointed out issues in the early drafts. Fans eventually requested the novel be released in a digital version. The Kindle edition became super popular, ascending Amazon's list of best-selling science fiction novels. This helped it catch the notice of publishing companies, and eventually it would go on to top the New York Times bestsellers list. What I love about this book can be summed up into 4 different parts. First, the characters. Mark Watney drives this book. He is in the battle for his life. He is smart, creative, and genuinely likable. Watney is chosen for the mission because of his personality, along with his skills and knowledge that he also brings to the table. In the novel, there is an interview with one of the psychologists who talk about how Watney was able to bring the level of stress down through joking and other techniques during very stressful training missions. Mark Watney's personality is what really makes this novel. I also enjoyed the fact that there are a ton of very smart, capable female characters. Annie Montrose, Mindy Park, Commander Lewis, and Beth Johansson, for a start, give women space in STEM-based professions. They are not cookie-cutter female characters. All have different personalities and bring different perspectives to the novel. One of the things I really liked was the level of confidence each brings. We see in the beginning of the novel where Mindy Park aspires to be as confident as Annie Montrose in her position. Next was how interesting this novel was. Andy Weir does this wonderful job of blending science and story. He gives you a protagonist to root for in Mark Watney and makes sure that none of the science is too much for any reader to handle. He does this all in a very interesting and well thought out way. And most of all, this book is inspiring. I have talked about how much the reader roots for Mark Watney, but in the book, the whole world is rooting for Mark Watney. This adds to the atmosphere in the book. I, for one, found this really inspirational, and it actually helped me get through COVID. And overall, this is just a really fun read. R.C. Bray's narration does a wonderful job of bringing this book to life. His ability to differentiate the character voices, adding accents when needed, and genuinely capturing the tone and the flow of the novel are done really well. This is the first time and the only time I've ever had R.C. Bray narrate one of the novels I've read or I've listened to, and it makes me want to find other novels he has narrated. So I give him a 10 out of 10 for narration. I did recently look up this edition on Audible, and it looks like it has been replaced by a Will Wheaton edition. I have not listened to that version yet, but will hopefully have the pleasure of listening to it soon. To finish out this video, I just want to say that I highly recommend this novel. The characters are great, the narration's great. Overall, it's just a really fun and interesting read.